In this video I'm going to be having a look at the Hornby Railway's overhead power supply system. It has been discontinued by Hornby because it wasn't a very good seller. But if you get one of these overhead power supply packs from the internet, you get these catenary wires, and you get these catenary posts. It comes in a packet like this, where all the masts come in this box, but also in the box are the clips to fit to the base, and the droppers, and there's also the catenary wires. The manner in which this fits together is you've got this clip here. Now that fits here between these where the two rails join together. They fit into the space that is between the two rails. Now this type of track is called System 6 track. The earlier type of catenary that was supplied by Tri-ang will not fit this. These types of masts only work with this System 6 track. If you look at Oscar Paisley's layout on the internet, he has got a System 4 track which has larger sleepers and a larger rail, and that Tri-ang track, the Tri-ang mast that he has got on his layout, work with that. But this layout is System 6, and consequently I've got to use these Hornby type masts. You can see here that that's how it fits in. It fits to this nylon dropper. It's held in place by this spring. It's all quite simple, really. You get these wires with it which connects to the power mast, and there is an instruction booklet. This is the right way round. If you open up the instruction book, it tells you, as I've just shown, how to attach the clip to the rails. There's an illustration here of the mast. Here is an illustration of the point. You can put two overhead catenary wires into here to make a point junction. This illustrates how the two sections of wire are joined together with this short metal sleeve. This is an illustration of the power mast. Now on this layout I have got a power mast I'm going to show you shortly. Here they show you how to connect the power supply to the power mast, and the other side of the power goes to the other rail. And there's a switch on the roof of the loco which connects the pantograph. And this illustration here shows you how it actually works. The power goes up to the power mast and through the pantograph and through the motor and down back to the other side. And something that's quite interesting about this is this illustration shows how you can have two locos on the same track, connecting one controller to one side of the track and connect the other controller to the other side of the track. Here are some suggestions for having a layout with catenary wires on a double track. This is more or less all there is to it. There's very little to do with it, really. It's quite simple. This is the power mast. Here is a spade connector where the wire attaches, and here the dropper is fitted in a slightly different way. With the other masts, this piece of metal goes through this hole. With the power mast it does not. This piece of metal simply rests on the catenary here, so as to make a connection to this piece of wire which goes back to the controller, of course. On this layout I've fitted two power masts, and these are the two, this is the feed from one power mast, and this is the feed from the other power mast. And the easiest way to do this is simply to bring the power from the controllers and wire it one side to one track and one side to the other rail, as illustrated in the Hornby book which I showed you earlier. How I have connected the overhead catenary to the controllers is just by using this phono plug. Now this phono plug simply all this does, if I undo this, you will see that there are just one wire to one contacting the other to the other. Now here, this simply goes the wire from one controller to one track and the wire from the other controller to the other track. And then when this is plugged in to the layout, it means that one track has the power from one side of the controller and the other track has the power from the other side of the controller. Now if you do this, you can also plug in a third controller, so it's possible to plug three controllers into the same track using one of these adapters. Here is the Class 90 loco from Hornby, and here is the switch. Now when you move this switch, it disconnects the catenary, and if you reconnect this, it connects the catenary up again. So if I just turn the controller, you can see that it operates quite easily off the catenary. Now it's possible to connect two controllers to the catenary wire and have two locomotives running simultaneously. Here we bring in a Class 90, which is connected to one controller, and here we bring in a Class 90 that's connected to the other controller. This is not DCC, it is only DC. You can move that one away. You can move this other train as well, independently. There is a tendency, if you try to run both trains simultaneously, for them to interfere with one another, because the current from one goes round the commutator of the other loco. So if you did want to make this as a permanent installation, I think you would need to fit some diodes or something to prevent that. Anyway, we'll move our trains out of the way a bit. Let's move that one away. Now we've got a third train here on the outer track. It's possible to bring the other train up, though it's not DCC, it is DC. This controller is the new Hornby controller. For some reason it has a tendency to make a buzz. With this controller you cannot reverse the direction without actually reducing the control down to 0. But I will switch the point here. It makes a terrible buzz. I do not know why it does make this buzz, but it does it with all the locos I've tried, and in Sam's trains he also has the same complaint. I don't know why that is, if anybody could enlighten me on this point, but I'm just using this for the experiment. You can see here I've got my trusty Hammond and Morgan duet controller. Now this is a picnic table from Robert Dyas, and if you're too lazy to make a shelf to go onto your layout, quite an easy answer is to get a picnic table from Robert Dyas. This is another view of the picnic table under here. It just folds out. You can see this is the carrying handle. This of course is the E-link, which I just attached to a piece of board so it's out of the way. If you want to run your train off overhead catenary, you certainly can.